limbs are getting lower and lower and lower just because of the weight of the pecans as they get larger and larger. They're not ready yet, but we're getting close to getting them out. So you can see how those are. And again, this is a small pecan tree. You see the size of that pecan tree there? It's a double tree. It's not very big. It looks a little bit bigger there than that, as I got it zoomed in a little bit. You zoom out, you can see that that's not a, that tree over there is huge. This is the little tree I'm under right now. That double tree is huge. This is the little tree I'm under right now. Not really that big a tree. And you look around, you see giant, giant trees. And this whole area will be smooth, mowed down like a park. We brush hogged this once this year, but this will be mowed down like a park, and it's going to produce lots of pecans. Oh, I'm excited about the pecans this year. We've had 2 very poor crops. Keep in mind, we'll be selling these pecans on the internet, and you'll be able to start placing orders, I believe, around October 1, which is not far off. There is what used to be a brush pile. You see how big that was, and those are where we trimmed the bottom limbs off of these trees. And there was a lot of pecans on those bottom limbs. A lot of pecans we just had to waste. I hope the animals got some of them when they were laying on the ground. But we've had these piles stacked up all around the ranch. I might be able to show you one after a while if we find one that is that has, you know, hadn't been burned. But we got a half-inch rain yesterday morning, and so we were able to burn some of these without worrying about starting a fire and burning something that we didn't want to burn. Those are all pecan trees that you're looking at over behind that. You see all those big pecan trees right over there. Those are all scattered pecan trees. And we have a lot of big individual trees around that are all by themselves. And this is one of my favorite ones right here. It's a favorite because it just produces year after year after year. And even in the bad years, this produces pretty good. But here's the deal. A big part of that tree is right over the road. And so that road actually gets covered with pecans that fall before we shake. But we'll walk up here and look at that tree just a little bit and see what's on it. And I'll give you an idea of how many pecans we've got this year. It's just I'm so excited about this year's pecan trap. We got to cut hay twice this year, so we had our best year cutting hay. And I want to just look right there. I'm going to zoom in on that right there. If we had the sun out, these things would be shining like a new dollar. And look how big those are. And we still have, we won't start taking orders till October 1. We'll be shipping somewhere toward the end of October, 1st of November. We actually start getting them out of the trees. But you can just see, you can just look and look and look. And there's pecans on every single limb. And big bunches of them. Look at that right there. Big bunches of them. And I don't know if I can reach this limb. I'll go here and reach this limb and see if I can reach and get some down really, really close. We've trimmed the trees so much that that it's hard to get down, get a limb that I can reach right now. But we want to get under here with the tractors and work on them. But those are beautiful. Those are absolutely gorgeous big pecans. I can just barely reach this limb. I'm 5'10". I need to be 6'3" in order to reach some of these limbs. But you can just see those big pecans. This is just the end of one little branch right here is all this is that I'm holding. The end of one little branch, and you can see those pecans. And of course, you know, they say low-hanging fruit. That's what that is low-hanging fruit. But they're just, look at those big, beautiful things, will you? Look at those right there. Golly. I can't reach those. Those are a little bit too high for me. But they're just all over it. We go over here to this limb right here. I know I'm shooting in the sun, but we're going to see the exact same thing. Big, beautiful pecans are on every limb. As they go, they get actually thicker as you go up toward the top of the tree. But it's just absolutely gorgeous. Start zooming in up there, you'll be able to start seeing more pecans. Like I said, if the sun was out, they would be shining like a new dollar. But there's plenty. There's plenty. These pecans will be the best tasting pecans you have ever put in your mouth. I promise you that. One of the reasons is they're fresh. These pecans will not, they will be frozen, some of them, but the ones that we ship out on our internet sales will be fresh, never frozen pecans, and they will absolutely be scrumptious, I promise. Scrumptious. We get notes every year. Those are the best tasting pecans I've ever tasted. And we'll be shipping them out here pretty quick. So you want to get your orders in as quickly as we start taking orders. We're looking at the shipping costs. They go up every year, and the cost of pecans, which is a good crop this year, the price will probably be down a little bit. So it may be able to sell them at the same price last year. I really have no idea right now. These are 3 or 4 little smaller trees that are sitting here all by themselves. And these are trees that we've never really had hardly anything on over the years. And one of the reasons was this was kind of a messy little area right here. There was a lot of smaller trees in here. And so where these 3 trees are, there was probably really about 10 or 12. And we went in here and cleaned up all the little ones and got them out of here. And that left these 3 trees that are still relatively close together, particularly those 2. These right here, this one and that, and they're probably about the right distance apart. Those trees you're seeing back there and those trees you're seeing, that one all by himself there and all those back there, those are pecan trees as well. But now these trees right here, really, I don't think we've harvested before, but I want you to take a look at these things. I'm looking at the ground a little close too, because it's cooler weather is going to start the rattlesnakes to moving around. I don't want to be looking up and step on a rattlesnake. But you can see this one limb right here. Look at this limb. Look at this limb. It's just absolutely covered in big pecans. Look at them right there, back in there. Look up there. This is just one limb that is getting so heavy with pecans. Some of these limbs will break. They'll get so heavy with pecans. You know, that's what can happen. But you look at that and walk on over here is another kind of limb that's a little bit low down. That limb starts up pretty high. You can see that where we right there on that tree where we cut one limb off, a lower limb. That's exactly what we did. We went in there and shaved the lower limbs off where we'd be able to. But when you get over here and look at this, looky there at this tree. Look at this limb right here. Look at all those pecans. I'm just moving around. I'm not zooming in on anything. Look at that cluster there. When you see those 5 and 6 and 7 clusters, that's a banner year. God is smiling on us pecan farmers. He really is. He really is. They look great. Nothing wrong with them. They're just beautiful, beautiful pecans. Look at them up close. Just big, beautiful pecans. And look at them in there. Just look at them on that tree. That's just one limb. And they go all the way up to the top like that. And these are trees that we really haven't had enough pecans on to shake. But I think because we cleaned things up around them, all the nutrition went to these 3 trees, and they're all 3 absolutely covered up with big, beautiful pecans. Let's go look at Sherry's Park real quick. You've heard us occasionally talk about Sherry's Park, and you know, Sherry and Jack are going to be building a house down here, but they're going to build it over there on the other lake, on Canyon Lake. But this would be a great place, except it's not on the water right here. But this is Sherry's Park we're looking at right here. And there's probably, I don't know, I haven't ever counted them, but in that little bunch of trees right there, there's probably 40 or 50 trees. And they go on both sides of the road. This is one side of the road right there. But if you follow Sherry's Park on around, you can look back there, and there's trees on that side of the road also. And that's that field I was looking at a little while ago that we talked about, the elk field. You can see the high fence there. See all those trees that are on the other side of the fence. There's a few trees on this side also. Those are all big, beautiful pecan trees you're looking at. And that's a big, beautiful pecan tree right there. There's another one right there, another place where we burned the limbs that we cut down. We'll clean that up, and by the time we get greened over next spring, you'll not even be able to tell that we burned those. We lost a lot of pecans doing that. A lot of those limbs had a lot of pecans on them, but that's just something you have to do to make things better for harvesting. Pig trap there that we haven't set in a while. I want to get one of those picture pig traps like Daniel Arms has got on Arms Family Homestead. My buddy comes over here and helps me catch them occasionally. Daniel comes over here and we catch them and do a video or 2 on it. This is where we got the flying hog that jumped out of the pen. Not once, but twice. And we kept catching big buck deer in it also. That's Sherry's Park, beautiful part of the ranch. We keep that mowed and clean all year long. Mow that very frequently because of the fact that we drive by it. The road goes down and it turns back to the north right there. And so we drive by that all the time. And it's just a beautiful area we call Sherry's Park. Probably ought to put a picnic table or 2 out there and maybe some little something that's real pretty. But the thing's pretty just looking at it as it is with all those big giant pecan trees. Hey, come here, Vanelli, back here. Couldn't hardly drive the Eagle without seeing deer. I just saw come here, Vanelli, come here. It's a little baby deer there. I just saw a baby. Vanelli, no! Come here. Good girl. Well, the baby disappeared. I just saw a mama deer with the baby. Two mama deers and 1 baby. That's probably the other baby just lagging behind a little bit. But Nellie wanted to run out there after that, but she stopped. That's good. Come here. This is a beautiful area down through here. Go through here, it almost gets dark on you. Go through this little deal there. You got a big canopy. We got our limbs trimmed down. Obviously, you can see the limbs trimmed down. They're trimmed down so we can get through here with the tractor. as well as drive through here with the mule and not have it hit the top of the mule and make noise when we're out in this area driving around. But it's a beautiful little spot. And we're going over to an area that we call Miss Piggy. Miss Piggy has got, I don't know, there might be 30 or 40 big trees over there as well. It kind of gets a little wet over there sometimes, and depending on how the rains that we have, might be kind of hard to harvest those pecans, but we've been cleaning that area up and trimming over there also, so we could be able to harvest those pecan trees over there, because the trees have got so many pecans on them that every tree is valuable right now. And I'll show you a tree or two later that we've cleaned on a little bit, try to clean up. It's really been hard to clean up, but hopefully we'll be able to harvest them. That it's just such rough terrain right there, and there's so many rocks and logs and stuff around. And you can see we've brush hogged here, the pretty little area right here, just kind of make a nice little field for the deer to get in the evenings. We don't have a stand or anything around this one right here. But we're heading over toward Miss Piggy is where we're going right now. And yeah, buddy, Miss Piggy's going to be pretty, going to be nice. This is an area that we call Miss Piggy. And if you look around this area here, you can see that it's pretty thick, pretty brushy area, but we brush hogged in here and cleaned it up some. All of these big trees you see right here, all of those big trees out there, those are all individual pecan trees. They go over there through that other side, and there's some great big ones on that side. There's some big ones off down through there and all around. It's just been around looking at the area right here. All of these big giant trees you see is pecan trees. Now, there's really not a whole lot of them down here. There might be 20 or 25 trees, might be a few more than that. But these are big giant pecan trees, and we'll kind of look up here and walk up here to this one here just a minute. You can see big pecans on it up there. These pecans are perhaps not quite, I don't know, they're pretty good size, some of them. Not quite as large as they are somewhere, but there's a lot of pecans on these trees as well. And we'll walk over here and look around. Not quite as loaded as some of them are. Take this low limb, which I can just barely reach. You look up here, and some of these pecans, those pecans look a little ragged right there. Where are they? Where'd they go? They look a little ragged, like they've been attacked by some insects of some sort. But we haven't sprayed this fall for the pecan weevils. We don't know that we've got them yet, but we will be. But as you look up through that tree, you go on up through there, and I'm looking up pretty doggone high right now. I saw some bunches up there. It's kind of hard to find them in the camera. But there, you can see through there various deals where you see quite a few pecans as you go down through there looking. But that tree is not quite as loaded as some of them are, but it's got quite a few pecans in it. And this little limb right there, you can see. I'm having a hard time pointing my camera in the right direction. Bad camera work, folks. But see, that's that little one individual. That's not really what you want to see. You want to see those clusters, bunches of 3, 4, 5 in a bunch. That's what you want to look for right there. That's the really good crops when you've got them like that. But that tree still got quite a few pecans in it. Don't know really how good those pecans are. Looks like they got some bugs after them. But we'll take a look at them in a few more days. This is one of the great things about Miss Piggy. This is a great deer hunting area. This area was really, really thick. We perhaps cleared it out a little bit more than we should, but we wanted to clear it out just so we could get to these pecans on the good years. But we got a big Texas Hunter blind right there. That's the very best blind you can buy nowadays. That's just absolutely a Cadillac. You can get in there under all kinds of bad weather. You see we got the stand-up loading Texas Hunter feeder in there, just like what we have at the house. That thing's a little bit larger than the one we have at the house, but and what it does is sitting here right here beside the stand. See what we got it right here beside the stand, and it's throwing off out here in front of the stand. Throws way off out here, and this actually, once we get throwing feed in there for the fall, they'll just wear it down. There'll be some 8 deer in there. But that's just an absolute beautiful stand. It's got bow shooting windows and gun shooting windows both out of it, so you hunt with both a gun and a bow in that. And this is where my great grandson Lightning killed a deer up here last year with his bow. Great thrill for him. First deer that he killed with a bow. He passed up some bucks and ended up killing a big doe, which was really, really good. A thrill. Hey, Benelli. Hey, Benelli. But this is Miss Piggy. And we've got some ladder stands over here as well that we hunt out of. That's a big ladder stand right over there. You can see it going up there. A ladder stand we can hunt out of. I killed a couple deer out of that with my bow, as well as shot a big giant boar pig that's got huge tusk on it. And so he's walked under the tree right at dark, walked right under that tree, right through right there. And I tried to shoot him in the ear, and still stuck him right in the top of the head, about a ½ inch away from his ear. Stuck an arrow down through his brain. That's a big giant pecan tree as well. And that's a great place to hunt right there. This is the creek right here that runs into Canyon Lake. You can see nothing running into Canyon Lake right now. We sure need rain. As we come up on this area right here, this is a little small orchard that has about 4 trees over there. There's 3 big giant trees over here. So that's only 7 trees right there. But when you get over here in the other part of this, and this orchard part right here really doesn't have a name. We're looking through the dirty windshield on the mule. But you get over here, and there's 7 trees there, but then you get over here, you look, and you find about another 25 or 30 trees or so. I don't know really how many. And again, these trees are like most of the trees this year. By golly, they're loaded. They're loaded. And that's another great orchard right there that's got quite a few trees in it. As we move through this area here, these are food plots. These are all big food plots. But we come into this area here, we find another situation. That's big food plots, where you have just one big giant tree all by itself. That's a double tree. We have to shake both sides of it. But again, you take a look at that, and if we zoom in, we move up there and zoom in. We're on the shady side of the tree. I don't know how well we can see, but you see, again, loaded with beautiful pecans. And as you look around through that tree, you'll see that all over just like that. Look out through the branches, just loaded with big, beautiful pecans. Clusters of 3, 4, 5, 6. Absolutely incredible. It's going to be a bumper crop. Get your order in.